Right, so we've flat wheeled this down in a very, very mild one. These are actually discs that are meant to remove paint rather than an actual, you know, aggressive flat wheel. So that's quite good, it's not taking a lot of metal off here. We've got that ready for a weld, and I'm just going to put some aluminium under here just to give it a platform and just fill weld these little holes up. That, once flattened down, will be a nice solid bit of boot. I'm going to take my time with this because I don't want to warp the panel while I'm doing it. So just be a wee bit, let it cool, and a wee bit more. Also, I think I'll fill in the rear wash white pole as well. I don't fancy reinstating that, and it's just a big unplugged hole at the moment, so when in Rome. So, we have a delivery, a big white plank of spoilery goodness. This is the stock one for the Supra, and as you can see it's completely the wrong colour. So what we're going to do here is flatten this down, get it in primer, ready to go on, and then we're going to have a discussion about colour. I'm not doing this, I can't be asked. Christopher! Yes? Hi! It's good having an apprentice. So I've got a couple of wee pop marks that are just not really any use. So we're just going to put a light skim of filler over this just to block it up a bit, and then we're going to flatten it down and paint it. Chrissy mentioned that he's actually never worked with filler before, so this is the homebrew way of getting a filler applicator for filler. You get the lid for it and you chop into a point and it allows you to manoeuvre it. Blob of filler, such as this. So you need to apply a hardener, yeah. But once you've got the hardener in it, you just need to start folding it in until you cannot see the red from the hardener anymore. That way you know it's fully mixed. Don't be afraid to give this a good mix because it won't go off immediately. But get it all on, make sure everything you need to be covering is covered. So, despite the good start I made in this, let's have a look at what Chrissy's subsequent efforts are. F*** me. Some nicely prepped, and I might say nicely prepped spoiler. Double marks. I'm not going to get too hung up about. You'll notice though we are holding in our hands a tin of black. There's a reason for this, and it's not just because I want a black spoiler. So I've had a think about the car, and yes, I know it's jade green, and I do want to keep it jade green. But as you've probably been aware, there are some substantial bills coming my way for other parts of the car. For the interim, just to get it all uniform, looking presentable, the old make it a 10-footer idea is going black. So I like a black Supra. It may not remain black. It may remain black, but at least it will all be black. And we're doing it just with Alcans because it's going to look better than that.
I close my eyes and I begin to see
This 10 grand shelf needs to be better.
when we're alone.
Danny, our resident positivity star, is so hyped at actual 90s JDM carbon.
It's the shittest fucking look on it.
I can't believe you're such strange tastes. What's wrong with it?
How many vents do we need?
3, clearly. 1, 2, 3, so it's got a big smelly face.
There's another one. There's another look. Oh,
aye, that's for turbo. Why can you not just be nice?
It's just not a good look.
Let people be happy.
It's too busy.
I like it.
It's too busy.
It's clearly going to stay.
Standard bonnet. Just get standard
I
bonnet.
can't get a standard bonnet.
Why not?
Because the cars are made out of fucking unobtainium now. I am absolutely running that bonnet.
Really?
Yeah.
Once you've painted this car and it's all finished, you're going to put that bonnet.
Why is that so hard to believe?
Look at it.
Just to clarify why to paint an engine bay, Daniel's fucking about in my ECU. We have decided that this amount of loom is probably excessive and going to get in the way, and I'm having great issues getting this, which I forgot all about because of the amount of dust. There is still an amount of sparkle to remove, so we're going to just see if we can get the loom out. But the problem with that is it's going to have to come out from the inside, I reckon, which means we need to deal with the ECU. And just to clarify what dealing with the ECU means,
Yeah.
there is...
So it's an old F-Con. So you've got, they're like a kind of piggyback-ish system. So you've got HKS loom, HKS patch harness, and the actual harness for the car plugs in here. And then that goes up to the ECU.
Look at the amount of fucking wires!
So you it kind of has the stock ECU, but the HKS one does like the fueling and ignition. It's a bit of an old school setup. But the good thing is you can just unplug it all.
Well, I hope so, because the more we can unplug and remove, the better.
Well, yeah, we'll just unplug this and then that's it back to like stock ECU.
So that'll run with that disconnected, eh?
If you plug this back into the stock ECU, yeah.
Okay.
But it also means that when you go to buy a new ECU,
yes,
you just buy anything that's got 1J, 2J plug and just boop, and it'll be fine.
He sounds confident. I await to see the results. Right, so all of that is pretty much surplus and the car will still run without it.
Yeah, because that's the stock ECU plug, so we'll just plug that back into the stock ECU for just now.
Cool. So when we fire up the car and nothing happens, this is now yet another variable we've introduced.
No, it will happen.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, the worst case, what we do is...
Just plug all that back in.
Just plug it in just to get it running, so if you need to drive it to the...
Minus the white wire.
Well, yeah, that didn't do anything.
That was just wired to fresh air. That's a fresh air sensor.
There's also lots of these, like fresh air Bluetooth.
Oh, she's crowning. I'm not holding hopes for us going back in, by the way. Oh my god. Right, we have cleaned it, so that's a start. Next we need to work out whether or not I'm masking it and then finishing the rest of this sanding, of which there is significant quantities I forgot about, or we just blitz it, give it a wipe down and then mask it. But executive decision has been made. The subframe, as you can see, that's held in with a number of bolts and a steering rack, is coming out because there's just no point half-arsing this. Plus, it means that when the subframe comes out, I can get it outside and I can get it degreased. Probably don't need to paint the subframe, it's in pretty good nick and it's black anyway, but it would be nice for it not to be covered in death. So, let's get into it. Now, whilst my grand plan of just dropping a number of small bolts and then having the subframe fall off is in principle sound, there are still good reasons to do a quick cross-check and make sure there's nothing still attached to the chassis. For example, the one tiny little C-clip that locates the brake pipes onto the chassis, that's going to cause me a problem if I just drop the subframe, so let me get these out.
Empty vases on your mantelpiece tonight. Heaven sent another minute of your life, of your life, of your life. Without it, in hollow love.
Carnival Chrissy's tea making facilities.
No.
Gotta find something to get that.
Don't worry about a soda, aye.
We have now fully prepped, scraped everything off that we couldn't get with an angle grinder, flattened it all down, hit it with some Q-rust in a couple of areas that you're not going to get rust off, but it's good to just not have rust because epoxy primer doesn't like it too much. We've also got a full clean car, so now it's time to do some masking. Now, important point to note when masking, don't use newspaper and don't use traditional masking tape. What's your fucking beef? No so fucking bright when you got a mic shoved in your face, staring in the mic like a barrel of a gun. Aye. I was getting chat there that we should have kept glitter brew from the man with the glitter brew from the man with the tattoos in his face.
No, I was
so
just saying that
we'll just
it
ignore
was,
that.
I was just saying that it was nice, it was authentic Japanese done, it wasn't some wee fucking Ned over here thinking, oh Japan.
No, it was some wee Ned over there thinking, oh, I'll just do this on top of black paint with no key whatsoever, so it flakes off. He's happy. You know that good things are going to happen because Daniel's here and he's happy.
Oh yeah, really happy. Really unbelievably enthusiastic about this.
Much the same way you are about anything.
Yes.
We have obviously flattened it. We have masked with everything, all the things we can't remove with proper paint and masking tape, not the white stuff you get from like Homebase that doesn't work well with 2K paint. What happens is you use normal like white masking tape that you get everywhere. The paint will soak into it and it'll actually react with the glue and it's a pain in the arse to pull off again. Similarly, this is proper brown paper that is for masking with, not newspaper. If you use newspaper, it's porous and it will go through and cause the paper to stick to the car. I've also used creatively different sized paper cups to deal with all the wee holes in the bulkhead, so they're all masked, even including the mixing cups, which will stop blow through into the wheel wells. So I think we're good to go. Next step is we're going to mix up some paint. Well, we're going to test our gun first, in fact, we'll get into all that. But it's going to be etch primer first. Nice coat in that, probably a couple of coats maybe. We'll put it on nice and...
Epoxy.
Sorry, epoxy.
Epoxy, yeah.
Yes, epoxy primer on. I've put etch primer on already from a rattle can. Just these areas are just, they flash off with rust really quickly, so as soon as I clean them I want to just get a wee quick coating on it just so it's not going to cause any reactions with the epoxy. Yeah. Whole thing, couple of coats?
I think so, a couple of thin ones.
Couple of thin coats of aye. So get that on, let it flash off for 2 hours.
I think so, yeah. I mean, some of them vary, but there's like a maximum time that you can leave it. So if you leave it like over 24 hours, then it goes too hard and paint doesn't stick. You have to then key it all. So it's like there's a window where you need to just double check. But usually it's like once it's dry, a couple hours in, you can.
Which means we've been waiting for a window because evenings don't really work because you're talking 5 hours worth and we've only really got 4 hours before we all turn into pumpkins. So as a result, this is now a Friday afternoon, half days, bang, straight into it. So hopefully we'll get this wrapped up today and then that's like the start of the good things happening as opposed to constantly undoing bad things.
Yeah. The main thing is as long as we get the epoxy on and then get the paint on, get a coat of paint on so that we've got something that's actually stuck to it, then we're good.
Also, just as a side note,
Gizmo.
eBay's finest gazebo, just in case. Now, as you can imagine, we have a large substantial work area and a very small area that's getting painted. I don't want A, any dust from all of this hitting that, and B, I don't want any of what's going on here hitting all of this. So damage control, gazebo.
Got me up inside, and neither of us won't come down. They're telling me that I might be crazy. They're telling me that there's no way out.
you may consider this to be slightly dark, but fear not. Monsieur really adopted the dark. I was born in it. As you will note, we are not fucking about. We have assembled a water trap and we have run a line to next door because they have a real compressor. As my poor little 90 litre, which has been great up until today, does not have the girth to get it all the way in. So here we go. We're more or less ready to go. So we're going to mask up and have a first pass. Right, welcome to the Tools and Track mixing station. This is Operation Epoxy Primer, where we're going to mix 2 parts of grey primer to 1 part hardener, and then add 10% thinners to make it apply easier. Talk amongst yourself.
Could you be the one?
That was a long shift and painful and has left its mark, but I didn't film a lot of it. The reason being, when we were primering, I was finding my glasses were starting to get paint on them, and then when we painted, I found my glasses were getting paint on them that wouldn't come off. So I kind of scuppered using the camera quite a bit. As a result, we're done. It's the next morning, it's had 8 hours to cure. And I'm guessing, like me, you really want to see how it's turned out. That, as they say, is that. One fully prepped engine bay, ready to go. Almost. So in the next episode, the first thing we need to do is actually seam seal it. I think it's some black sealer just to make sure all the weld lines, granted the ones that are stitched, still don't let water through, because, you know, paint doesn't go in there. So that's more or less done though. Now we can start looming it all back up, and then we need to start thinking about how to put the engine in. And that is going to be an adventure. But thanks for watching, guys. If you like this content, if you love it, you want to see a bit more, patreon.com/toolsandtrack. We have more stuff that was on there as well. If that's not for you, cool, I get it. Still, like, subscribe, bell, and share, because this is handy when you share. Until next weekend, guys, drive safe. Oh yeah. Yeah, we've got more work to do. We knew that. Be right back.